Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I want to thank the senator from the 19th, obviously the Senate Budget Office Appropriation Committee, and also staff for the hard work on this particular legislation. As we know, staff is so important. So I just want to make sure we thank them. Looking at this budget, obviously there are some things in here which are very good, and the question becomes, can we actually do more to it? Can we actually make it better? Can we actually make some changes to it and invest in our people and also in our children, which is obviously very important, and that is the key. We all can come together and realize that it's our children and our people that makes Georgia great. And there are two issues that are still out there that this budget actually could meet that we right now are woefully inadequately meeting. For instance, the budget funds 21,000 promised scholarships. These scholarships will take money out of the public schools. It will harm public education. There's no doubt about this because we've seen other states such as Arizona where a lot of these scholarships have blown their budget. We'd be frankly better off actually using this money for what we call the CAPS program. Using this money to actually fully fund our education. Public education is the key to assist families in their desire to actually educate their children. One of the keys of this is, I was kind of thinking about this yesterday when we did SB 268. When we did SB 268, it actually tells us that we now want to have a record of a kid when he goes from one school to the other so that the other school can actually understand what his total record is, which means what you're really looking at is that you want a school to understand what the total root causes of this child is. It's not good. That's a good idea. But when you start talking about the promised scholarship and going to private institutions, it forgets something, that the children that they're just supposed to be taking in, they have root causes of a lot of the issues that they have. A lot of these schools, which are quote unquote failing, they live in high poverty areas. They live in high crime areas. So all of these kids, most of these kids have real root cause issues that are causing the issues that are preventing them from actually learning and studying. And just because we slap on the word private to an institution is not going to make that institution any better at actually educating that child without making sure we deal with issues such as poverty, without making sure we deal with issues such as hunger, without making sure we deal with issues dealing with crime. So the fact that we're going to move this money and just say now it goes to a private place, and all of a sudden, magically, these children are going to be educated better is certainly a misnomer. So we can do better within that particular area. Also, when we start talking about our people are still out there who need help, especially who have suffered from Hurricane Helene. That is obviously a big issue that still exists. In my particular district and many others, many people are still suffering because of that particular hurricane. I remember coming here to actually speak at the senators from the 28th. She had a panel discussion on voting rights because it's something that's very unique to her and something she's very interested in. And I had to come up here to speak for 30 minutes. I had to leave my district for 30 minutes. And I came up here and spoke because she asked me to do that. And I remember seeing the senator from 26, and he said, is y'all power out or something in Augusta? And I said, no, it's a lot more than that. It was tremendous devastation that took place. And that happened all over our state. And we can do better. We've tried to work through that with the amended budget, but understand that we can do better with that. And so when I left here that day to go back home, I actually was leaving electricity here. I was actually leaving an air conditioner and going back to a place with no gas, no one had any power, food services weren't opening, and my task for that day would be to stand in the food service line and help people actually eat. That was huge for all communities in this state. So we can do better. We can do better as far as how we're actually going to educate our children, and we can do better how we actually fund our people and take care of our people. And here's the thing. There are some good provisions in this budget. There's no doubt about that. And the question becomes, do we have a positive affirmation and say we believe that this committee can do better, or do we have a negative affirmation? And I'm going to vote today yes, because I believe that this committee believes in Georgia's children and believes in the people of this state, and we will actually make this budget better. That is my hope, Mr. President. And with that, I yield the well.